Sometimes as agents, we get stuck in this position where we really want to go after the sale. We really want to go after the relationship, but at the same time, their timeline gets lost in this limbo and we don't want to be pushy. This video is all about how to stay relevant and valuable on their timeline so that when we're reaching out to them, even if it's at a time that's ahead of their schedule, they always feel as if we have their best interest at heart, and most importantly, getting us closer into relationship with these agents, converting clients that we haven't worked with yet.
And the other one is I have a woman who I've met. I've seen her over the years in a restaurant occasionally, and we got talking about real estate. She said she was looking to buy a house for her uh, daughter, and she's well established in the community here. She's got tons of money. It's cash sale. She's looking at property that is in a place called Old Northeast, St. Petersburg, and it's all 1 million to $15 million property. She wants a pool, 4 bedrooms, at least 4 bedrooms, a pool, and on the water facing the ocean. So that's all pretty high. But she's out of town. I've sent her a couple things in the sense of, hey, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. She says, I'm out of town. When I get back, we'll get together. I sent her a couple properties just saying, hey, these are the newest ones on the market with the more updated, upgraded look. There's some other traditional homes. I can send you those. So and I'm sending her stuff like, the eclipse and the moon and all this other crap. Just trying to send her stuff to keep in contact. The last thing was, yeah, hey, when I get back, we'll get together and we'll talk about it. So,
When was she
but
supposed to be back?
yeah, she didn't give me a timeline. She's been traveling for about a month now. Like I said, she's got endless income and is pretty well established and really has, not a care in the world, it looks like, with the way she does everything.
Yep.
But, I'm just trying to stay in contact without really trying to push the issue. But at
Yeah,
some
and
point here,
that
go ahead.
tends to that tends to so like we get stuck in sales sometimes where it's like we have somebody that is interested in buying or selling on a specific timeline. Same thing when Josh was talking about. We want to find out timeline, because otherwise you get stuck into this feeling of like, well, I want to send her something of value. I want to stay top of mind, but I don't want to push. And because you don't know what the timeline is, it's almost hard not to know whether or not you're pushing or you're not pushing, right? Because it's this figurative idea. And at the same time, we know that people end up transacting sooner rather than later. And so we'll send them properties. So that the first thing that I would do anytime somebody tells me like, hey, well, as soon as I get back, I'm going on vacation. And then as soon as I get back, I'm going to put some time into it. Hey, fantastic. I always want to deliver service at the right time so that I'm always operating on what's best for you. Question for you: when are you getting back from traveling? When does your traveling end? Okay, gotcha. So then you're going to get back. You're going to have some things to organize. So that puts us at a next contact point of let's say, so she says, I'm traveling until the 29th. Gotcha. So you'll be back around the 30th. You'll be unpacking, you'll be all that. Why don't I reach out to you on Friday, the 31st? And just so I'm prepared, what are the top 3 things that you want to discuss, or where are the areas that you need more information in, so I can make sure that conversation is as relevant as possible?
Okay.
Because then you actually have, and I learned this lesson when I was selling websites. I would call real estate agents. They're like, oh, I'm interested. And, call me back. And I didn't want it to be a knee-jerk reaction. I didn't want people to be polite to me. I wanted to follow up with relevancy. And so one question I'd ask before I hung up is, great, what are the top 3 things you want to improve in your marketing? So that way, 1, I had that information, or 2, if they went ghost or whatnot, I had something of value that seemed interesting. And so the next communication that you have with her is, hey, I just wanted to check in with you. You mentioned getting back. When do you get back from vacation? And then
Okay.
she might say, I get back in a week or 2. Hey, fantastic. I'll be prepared for that phone call. I'm an expert in this area. I've helped buyers exactly like you. Some of my best clients are just like you. What are the top 3 things that you want to discuss in order to make sure that I'm providing the best service? And then she might say, well, I need an agent that's going to find me the best property at the best price on my preferred timeline. Hey, fantastic. Are you working with any agent that's bringing you off market properties? People that have money typically have had some sort of think of, at least in our market, you can't throw a stone without hitting 6 realtors.
Right.
So I don't ever want to assume that somebody, because in America, a lot of people build wealth in real estate, and people that have money, they have other real estate, which means they've talked to other real estate agents, and they typically are successful at something in life, and they hang around other successful people, and other successful people have real estate agents. And so I also want to find out, where I found that in the beginning, I was kind of scared to ask that question, because what if they told me they had an agent and then the whole thing died? Right. Like, and then my opportunity and the idea of hope of I've got this person is great, but I got tired of having my heart broken. And I realized that if I, hope's not a sales plan, hope's not a marketing plan. So I wanted to get to the real estate agent relationship right as possible. Because what if she, there's a lot of people out there, especially wealthy people, like, hey, this is what I'm looking for. If you bring me a deal, I'll buy it from you. And then that way they can loyally and ethically look at their friend and be like, hey, they got me this deal. I saved $1 million. Sorry, it's not business, or it's just
Right.
business. So
Right. I did ask her in our initial conversation that, hey, are you working with anybody? She said she wasn't. But like you said, I mean, these people know people who know people, and they're all over the place. So
yep. And so a good layering question in that scenario is, hey, you've been successful. You've obviously bought and sold real estate. What are the top three things that you want out of your real estate agent? What in your experience, what would you define as a great agent? And I ask those questions, even if she's not working with anybody, so that now from future on, every type of value proposition that I'm aligning myself with those. So I'm constantly reinforcing that this is what you want and this is what I am, which means we were meant to work together. And when I have that timeline, then I can reach out to her, and I'm not being pushy, because it's like, hey, you said this is when we would speak. You said this is when we would talk. You said that this would be okay. So I'm just being punctual and professional, which is obviously something that you want.
right. Okay. So first, just to summarize, just want to make sure. So go ahead and send her a text with some information, like when you come back from your travels, and work in the top 3 things that you want to discuss when you get back.
Correct. And what I would do is, again, going back to what's for her, is I wouldn't just say, hey, what's up? Are you, when you get back, I'd say, hey, I saw some properties come across my desk, made me think about you. When are you getting back from your trip?
Okay.
Something happened in my world that made me think of you, because there's value in it based on your timeline. When are you back, so we can discuss?
Okay, great. Yeah, this is great. Yeah, she's like wanting to start a restaurant. She's, it's just crazy with these things that they say, but I know she's serious. So it's, don't want anybody to step in
Yep.
and
Yep.
take that away.
Going back to that real quick, Renee, and another thing, you don't want to be, especially these type of high-end clients, you don't want to be chasing these people down the road, stressing yourself out. By
Right.
finding out the timeline, that's going to help reinforce so you can focus on other things. And, I've had clients like similar to where you're at. They're telling you about their trips to Miami, their spouses, all this stuff. And you're like, okay, I need to get to the meat and potatoes of what do you need to do to push this deal forward, which would be getting the timeline, figuring out what she's looking for. And then you can focus on other clients while she's, roaming Africa or whatever she's doing.
Right.
It's all about being as relevant to the audience as possible. And there's a big thing that we always say in our office, and I say in all my trainings, is like, first we seek to understand, and we seek to understand the layers and the depths and the complexity. And once we understand, then all of our conversations can be understood.